And this question, I suppose the situation isn't just as happy as my previous question with the Minister in terms of access to St Columkille's house in Kells. There has really been no access since last summer for tourists. I know there is work ongoing, but it seems that the pace of change in relation to this is very slow, and I am concerned about other sites around the country as well, where similar situations could happen, and tourist access is where someone retires who is a key holder, and there is no access for tourists.
Thank you, Deputy Minister.
Thank you, Deputy. Public access to historic Columkille's house in Kells was previously available through a local keyholder who lived near the site. This system worked well over many years, with significant numbers of visitors gaining entry to the good positive feedback being received from them. However, this person retired unexpectedly from their post early last year and has not yet been replaced. The OPW is currently working with Meath County Council to put in place new arrangements whereby the key would be held in the local Heritage Centre facility, which has recently been opened and which will in the future be a major focus of tourism in the town. In addition, the OPW has engaged with local tourism group with the view of appointing another key holder who will be able to access the issue at the site. It cannot be managed by the Heritage Centre. This is being done so that it can ensure that the greatest possible access to the site and restored, while making sure that the historic building is not damaged.
I would like to pay tribute to Mrs Carpenter and her family, who have for decades provided access to the public to St Columkille's house, and retired last summer. And I think the whole town, region and many tourists and archaeologists and historians have been very grateful to get that access from her. And as I understand it throughout the country, this is for a limited reward, and this is really for the love of their native town or area, and for the greater good that people take on this role by and large with the OPW, and I want to pay tribute there. But I think that it is unfortunate that when someone retires after having done tremendous work over many decades and significantly past the retirement ages that would have been discussed in the previous question, Minister, as well, the thing is just left and nobody can get access to it, and there is no succession plan from the OPW. And what's happening now is, and I want to pay tribute to the Kells District Tourism Network, they've been asked by your department to find a key holder, and I think that's good if someone is found, and I hope that someone is found, someone suitable is willing to do the type of work that's required. But it is burdensome enough, like in terms of what's actually required from the OPW. Probably necessarily, like, I mean, I accept that what needs to be done in terms of making sure the place is okay,
Thank you, Deputy.
as well as letting people in. But I think there needs to be a greater proactive role between the OPW and the County Council to make sure these type of huge gaps don't happen, and this particular gap is closed as soon as possible.
Deputy, I fully appreciate where you come from, and I do know that work, it's not fair to say that work isn't engaging with the local OPW and the local authorities, plus the tourism group. We had a meeting in my office just before Christmas, so we're hoping to advance in bringing this to a conclusion very, very shortly.
Supplementary, sorry, just brief supplementary. Yeah, no, I know there's work going on now, but there was a large gap of time there last summer, a very important time when things were going very slowly and people didn't know what was happening. And I do acknowledge there's work happening now, but it shouldn't all be left to voluntary tourism groups. And I just think it's just something to watch out for in the future. I was at a meeting last night in Clonalvy in County Meath, and obviously there's a hugely important monument there, 4 knocks of equivalent standing to Newgrange and Nouth. Effectively, Mr White there continues to give the key out on a regular basis. And we have so many of these sites around the country, I think it's about time somebody actually acknowledged, and I know the OPW does probably, but that these individuals right around the country are acknowledged for the work that they do in keeping these sites open, where other places which are considered of more importance, whether it's World Heritage sites such as Newgrange or maybe more political clout in some parts of the country historically as well, would have had visitor centres or would have had substantial developments or full-time staff. So these people do a huge amount of work. I think it's important that we recognise that.
Well, I do acknowledge all the good work that these people have done right around the country, but in the question you relate to in your own neck of the woods, they have brought that to my attention just before Christmas. And once it came under the meeting I had with them, I've now moved that to which I would see a successful conclusion. But I would say to you that we are working closely. Minister English brought this to my attention just before Christmas. He set up the meeting, I had the meeting, and now I'm coming to a conclusion that we'll bring this to a final conclusion for the people.
Thank you very much.
My brought your fishes, but bring it to me, and I act at the minute. No matter what minister in this House comes to me with a query, I'll follow it up. If it comes in front of me, like this one in Kells that Minister English brought, I am dealing with that, and I appreciate the response.
Thank you very much, Minister. Question 8.